Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate you taking out time to join. The event promises to be very educating, and we're happy to have you all here. So, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Senami Onadele, and I will be your host for this exciting session. Now, before we dive in, I want to take a moment to acknowledge, the significance of today's webinar. We're gathered here in commemoration of the International Women's Day. This day, was officially celebrated, I think, on Saturday. Yes, but the whole month of March is actually dedicated to us, right? As women, we should be celebrated every day. So even beyond March, let's just keep celebrating ourselves, educating ourselves over and over again. Once again, today is the perfect occasion to discuss a topic that is very close to our hearts: financial empowerment for women. And in the next 1 hour, we'll explore how networking, business building, financial literacy can pave the way for successes. We have an incredible lineup of speakers, as you can see, our beautiful speakers who will share very insightful experiences, talking about their life experience and practical advice on how to help you take charge of your financial future. I'm sure everybody here, maybe I should speak for myself, is looking to achieve financial freedom at a very young age, where you're still very agile enough to enjoy yourself, right? So that's basically what we're trying to do here. We're trying to help women understand how to achieve financial success in their lives and, balance every single aspect, because we know how difficult it can be sometimes for we women to balance, family, work, and everything going on in our lives. So let me quickly introduce our speakers. We have the delectable Ifedurosimi Eti. She's the CEO of Hakanami. And over the years, she has impacted the lives of so many women by connecting women to grants, loans, jobs, and financial opportunities in general. So our first speaker will be discussing empowering women through financial literacy. Let's move on to the next speaker. She's Mrs. Titilayo Savage. She's the COO, which is the Chief Operating, over 20 years of experience in executive roles across diverse industries. She will share her personal journey with us today and the lessons that she has learned over time. She'll be speaking on business building, the path to success. And of course, we have Oluwaseun Oladimeji. She's the group head of business development, Blue Ball. She'll be our top speaker for today, and she'll be discussing networking for growth, building the right connections. I'm sure we're going to learn. Today is going to be so packed. So please pay rapt attention, because these are women who are making huge strides in their own industries, and it would be good for you to pick one or two things from them in order to move ahead in life and be more successful in our different industries. So in the course of this webinar, we'll also have an interactive financial quiz. I'm sure some people are looking forward to this, right? And a Q&A session as we go into the webinar. So just to brief us, once the speakers have spoken and we have any questions, we can either drop them in the chat box, or we wait to the Q&A session to ask them the question so we can have a smooth flow of events. So before I hand over to our first speaker, I'd like to take a moment to talk about, the brand that made it possible for us to have this webinar today, in partnership with Hakanami. Blue Bulb is a leading foreign exchange and cross-border payment company that makes international transactions seamless, secure, and cost-effective. So imagine you want to send money abroad. In simple terms, that's what Blue Bulb does. We're fast, we're reliable, and we manage global businesses and operations. So just know that Blue Bulb has you covered in any aspect of inflow, offshore payments, and other aspects of treasury management. So you can actually visit our website for more information on www.bluebulbfinancials.com to learn more about us. And don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. We have very interesting content and information for you there. Let's get started. Please join me in welcoming our guest speaker, Ife Durosimi Eti, the CEO of Hakanami, who will be speaking on empowering women through financial literacy. Ife, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Salome, for that lovely introduction. I've actually used Blue Bulb for a very, very long time. And anytime I'm traveling, anytime I need money, abroad, anytime I need to send money to Nigeria, Blue Bulb always comes to my rescue, no matter how much it is. So shout out to you guys. This is definitely.
Thank you so much for your patronage.
Thank you very much. So let's get right into it. I like to tell stories because I believe that people resonate and they remember the stories because it just seems like we're gisting with each other. So let me give you a quick story. So very recently, there was a woman who her mom passed on, and then she had to come to Nigeria to, come and take care of the funeral arrangements and everything, and she was closest to her mom, so she was doing the heavy lifting and stuff. So immediately after the funeral, she felt so ill. She literally thought she was dying, like she literally thought she was going away. So she started sending her daughter a message. Oh, I have 3.5 million naira under my bed. It's here. I have 10 million naira with this friend. I have so and so amount under the pillow in London. I have, she was sending messages, and I was like, what kind of human being is this? Like, I don't understand. And literally, when she sent all this money was almost over 100 million naira that was not sitting in any bank account. This money was not growing. It wasn't doing anything. Guess who this woman is? This woman was my mom. And I was like, so guess what? There's so many women like you and I who have money, who are not keeping this money or growing their wealth. If you check the statistics, the finance minister last year said in Nigeria today, only 5% of people in Nigeria have over 500,000 naira in their bank accounts today. So guess what? People are keeping money under their pillows. They don't even realize how much this money can be making for them. If they put this money in, for example, a high yield savings account, or invest it in stocks, or invest it in a mutual fund, that money will grow. That is why financial literacy is very important. You'll be making money, you are working, and I used to be one of those people. I used to work in Heineken, I was earning money, I was feeling cool, traveling up and down and all of that. But guess what? At the end of the month, my money has finished. I'm just like, I'm waiting for the next paycheck. But that's not how to live. It's important for you to get the skills, knowledge, and resources that will help you grow your wealth. And this information is just information that sets person A from person B. And that's why financial literacy is very important. You might be making money, so you've even gone the next level because there's a bandwidth of women, or there are women who, number one, they're not working, they're not making any money, they're not empowered. Just park them aside. There's another set of women who are making money, but that money is just sitting in their pillows, or they don't trust any bank, or they don't want to pay taxes. They have so many different reasons why this money is not growing. That's another set of women. Then there are women who have this money and it's just sitting in the bank and not doing anything for them. And they're the ones that are now growing their wealth. They're putting it, they're diversifying their income. They understand the differences between stocks and property investments and, different things that can quickly make them, some quick money. And that is why this topic is very, very crucial today. I had someone also who wanted to buy, him and his siblings, they wanted to buy property for their mom, but all the siblings were not ready. So the siblings that were ready, the money they had put together was 60 million naira. Guess what? He came to meet me and he was like, I don't want this money to just be lying idle in my bank account. I'm sure my siblings will be ready by next month. Let me keep this money with you, her economy, and I would, in a month's time, we'll come back to you. In a month's time, he was able to earn 800,000 naira on that money. But if he had left it in his regular bank account, that 800,000 naira, he wouldn't have gotten it. So that what I'm saying is, if you understand where to keep money, how to keep money, how your money can work for you, you'll be better for it. And guess what? Compound interest is a game changer. So yeah, financial literacy is very important. So another reason why financial literacy, I've told you the story. I'm sure you can draw so many lessons why financial literacy is important. But for this meeting, obviously I have to draw out points. Number one, it promotes financial independence. You will be extremely independent. You'll be able to do whatever you want to do. You'll be able to contribute to your children's education, whatever school you want them to go to. You'll be able to have insurance. You know, a lot of people, sometimes you're going through life, you're saving money and all of that, but because you did not insure something, maybe you did not insure your house or get health insurance, one health scare can come and finish all the money that you have saved. So it's important. It promotes all of that. It also closes the wealth gap. It encourages you to start smart investing and wealth building. It also prepares you for life transitions. So if you're somebody that starts early, maybe before you start having children, when you start having children, if you've been investing and saving and growing your wealth, you can decide, okay, I want to take some time out. I want to take 2 years to just take care of my children, to do this, to do that. You'll be able to make better informed decisions and not suffering while you're doing it, and you still do it in a very comfortable way. It also helps to support entrepreneurial success. When you're financially literate, you would know some of the things you can do. So some people just do like buying and selling, and they think that is how you can just continue to grow your business. But some people go the extra mile and invest some of the money and the funds that is coming in from their business. So they invest the revenue, they stretch that money and make that money go even further. Lastly, it also protects against financial abuse. When you're financially literate, when you're financially independent, nobody can bamboozle you. And financial abuse doesn't only happen in your home. It can happen at work. It can happen in friendships. It can happen in different things. But if you're financially literate, if you're financially independent, you're more empowered and you can make decisions that can protect you, that you can defend yourself in different situations. So these are some of the reasons why financial literacy is very important. And this is why it empowers you to live a better personal and professional life. So question 2.
Yes, so let's move to question 2. So what are some of the biggest financial challenges women face today, and what practical steps can they take to overcome them? I don't know if you got that.
It's not their fault. Some of them have health challenges. Some of them, like sometimes, but like you all know, we're all women here. Sometimes when you give birth, they'll just tell you, oh, something is wrong with you. something is wrong with you. So sometimes you might have to actually take a break for health challenges. Options. So those are some of the challenges that beyond your own preparation and planning. Women entrepreneurs also face difficulties in securing like business loans or investments for their businesses. I remember when I started my business and I wanted to raise funding. At the time, the name of and I started pitching my business. A lot of people didn't really understand what we were trying to do. They were telling me things like, oh, there can never be another Facebook, there can never be this, there can never be that. But I decided to create a new path for myself, and I decided to crowdfund, and we're able to raise $600,000 in 24 hours, and we're able to. When it comes to raising funds, lack of financial education, and women are also underrepresented in high-paying executive roles and leadership positions. So there are some of the financial challenges that women face today, and some of the ways that you can overcome some of these things are just being empower yourself with knowledge, empower yourself with information, join communities. A lot of opportunities come when you're in a community of like-minded women. For example, Economy, we're hosting a conference and we're a community, right? And at the conference, we're going to introduce people to like different opportunities where they can tap into like property investments that are affordable, right? If you're not part of that ecosystem, you might not have that information. Before you know it, in 10 years' time, you'll be like, how did you hear about it? Oh, but you did not have that information. There's different companies that offer different things. They go to different communities. I remember during the COVID-19 pandemic, and a lot of companies were going through a lot of challenges and they were at home. Facebook wanted to give out grants to entrepreneurs who had, suffered a downtime during that period. No matter how much they put out the information, they were not getting that information in the right audience. So they came to come and meet us to say, oh, who are the people within the community that are credible? And they gave those grants to them. So join those communities, network, speak to people. It is so, so, so important for you to be part of, credible networks, credible communities, credible organizations, so that you can tap into some of these opportunities. And it also protects you because sometimes you can even invest as a community. If you're investing when you invest as a community, it gives you better leverage. Sometimes you even get a better discount because you're coming together as a group, as opposed to if you're just doing it one by yourself. And there's a lot of due diligence done when things are done in groups. So like I said, you're protecting yourself. So these are some of the practical steps that you can do to overcome these challenges. You seek opportunities for career advancement. You need to plan for career breaks, seek financial education, and leverage support networks. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that insightful information. So question 3, what habits can women adopt to achieve financial freedom and long-term security?
Fantastic. Number 1, budget. Budget, budget, budget. If it's not in your budget, don't do it. If you, sometimes you might see, your friend is doing it. You don't know the backup plan that they have. I remember when I started my business and we got an office space in Ikoyi, and people were like, oh my gosh, you have an office space in Ikoyi, but we're not paying rent. Do you understand? But imagine another business who is just starting and maybe wants to compete with us. You now run, and you now say, Economy has got an office in Ikoyi, so myself, I want to get office in Ikoyi. By that time, we were not paying rent, so you don't even understand people's networks, people's resources, people's advantages. So always budget and stick within your budget, and you continue to grow when you are disciplined enough to stick within that budget. Secondly, I'll say save consistently, automate your savings. There are different platforms that help you to automate your savings. Before, saving was very, very hard for me. It was a myth. It was something that I used to hear that rich people used to do. It wasn't something that I thought that I could intentionally, build by myself. But I started from saving 500 naira a day automatically. And before I knew it, I was able to increase my income and then increase till to the point where I was doing like 10,000 naira a day. It is possible. But if you don't plan, if you don't have automate it. Daily ones are better because if you're saving 1,000 naira a day, it will not pay you as opposed to at the end of the month. You bring us that whole 30,000 naira. Economy is an app that can help you do that very efficiently. Once you automate it, add your card, it does it seamlessly for you. So automate your savings. Avoid and manage debt wisely. Obviously, sometimes debt is unavoidable, but when you manage your debt and you're intentional about paying your debt back, it's always very important, and it also helps you to achieve financial freedom. Also, build multiple sources of income. For example, when I first started my business after leaving Heineken, at the time I was doing furniture for children. My salary then was 30,000 naira because we could not finish the company money on salaries. So I started thinking, what are some of the other things that I can do? What are the talents that I have that can give me extra income? I started thinking, okay, if I can write, okay, let me start helping people write their CVs. A lot of people are looking for jobs, their problems, let me start helping people write their CVs and writing their personal profiles to big them up so that their LinkedIn profile can look nice and all of that. And to my amazement, people were paying. I first started with 10,000 naira to the point where people were paying 10,000 naira to do their CVs. Before I knew it, I couldn't keep up because I'll have like 20 people's CVs to do, and I didn't have any other time for myself. I increased it. I started charging 40,000 naira. People will still pay. Some people pay 100,000 naira. Like I'll not start saying, oh, execs. For execs, oh yeah, you pay 100,000 naira per CV. People were calling me London, America, different places, and they were getting jobs. So I had fantastic testimonials and all of that. People were paying me to help them write their grants or to even review their grants for their businesses, all kinds of things. And this was beyond my immediate business that I was doing. I was even making more money from that than my actual business. And that was helping me keep up. That was how I was able to even increase my income to be able to save more. So when you think about things like multiple streams of, those are some of the things that you can think about when you think about multiple streams of income. You can also obviously get passive income from investments that you've done and all that. So yeah, those are some of the ways that you can, achieve long-term security and financial freedom. Obviously, there are other things like, the side hustles, the speaking engagements, all kinds of things that you can do to help you build your wealth. But you have to start from where you are. Think about the talent, God-given talent that God has given you, and continue to improve on it. Thank you. Last question.
Oh, wow. Yes. That was really, really beautiful. Like harnessing your talents, really, really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So for question 4, what are the top 3 financial principles every woman should understand to build a stable and secure financial future?
Okay. The first thing I would say is to live below your means. Very, very important. Sometimes there's something called lifestyle inflation that really catches up with you. And sometimes when you start increasing you increase your salary, when you get promoted at work, you continue to say, okay, now I want to move to Lekki, now I want to move to Ikoyi. It's always better to live below your means. And, even if you're improving your lifestyle and all of that, don't just make a big jump. So obviously live below your means. Pay yourself first. Very, very important. So treat savings and investments as non-negotiables. And obviously pay yourself first. And the third thing is understand the power of compound interest. Somebody saving 10,000 naira every month consistently over a period of 10 years is better off than somebody that at the end of 10 years just brings out 100,000 naira and saves, right? It's important for you to do it consistently in bits. It's a game changer. And I can even do a table and send it to your office just for you guys to see the difference between somebody that saves, in bits every day or every month consistently, as opposed to just waiting till the time in the future for you to do that. So understand the value of compound interest, and that would help you change the game for your financial future. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for that. That was really beautiful. And I'm sure a lot of people learned a whole lot. But before you close out, can you just tell us a little bit about Herconomy?
Fantastic. Okay, thank you for that opportunity. So Herconomy is a financial platform that allows you to grow your wealth. And we do this in different ways. One, by providing high yield savings accounts that allows you to earn 20% interest on your savings. So for example, if you put 100,000 naira in your Herconomy app today, in December, you'll be getting 120,000 naira. And compound interest also works. So if every month and your interest is actually paid out every month. We also have other wallets on the app, the ones that you can withdraw from it every day. You can also do like your bill payments on the app as well. Very soon, Dollar Savings is also going to be on the app, and you'll be able to get your interest. We also have a community of like-minded people where we have different networking events where you can meet and network with other people of like minds. We send out opportunities to the community for people in business, people in career, different opportunities. We have people who have gotten fantastic jobs from within the community. We currently have a partnership ongoing with Amazon EU, where people have gotten jobs, gone to work with Amazon, all sorts of opportunities. So yes, that's Herconomy in a nutshell, empowering women to make more money and grow their wealth. Thank you. Well, men are also welcome to join the app. It's available on the iOS and Android store. It's also available on the web store. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that brief understanding of her economy, because I know that would be very useful for a lot of people listening. And thank you for this amazing job you're doing in the society. We need more people like you.
Thank
So thank you
you.
very much for that. I want to say a big thank you for that presentation. And I'm sure people will have some questions at the end. So once you have the questions, please drop it in the Q&A session. And once it's time for that, we will attend to it and give you the answers. So now it's time for a little fun and engagement. I'll be asking a quick financial quiz, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. So, here are the scenarios. Which of these financial opportunities would you grab first and why? Let me take that again. So, I have four options, right? And I'm going to ask you this question, and you give us the best answer, right? So, which of these financial opportunities would you grab first and why? Number one, a guaranteed 1 million naira, but you cannot invest it. Number two, 5 million naira in business equity. Number three, an investment with 200% ROI, which is return on investment, but with a 20% risk of losing it all. And then number four, a lifetime free mentorship from a billionaire investor, but no direct cash or investment. Let me take that again. Number one, a guaranteed 1 million naira, but you can't invest it. Number two, 5 million naira business equity. Three, an investment with 200% ROI, but with a 20% risk of losing it all. And then number four, the final one, a lifetime free mentorship from a billionaire investor, but no direct cash. So to respond, you can, raise your hands by using the hand icon, and I will give you, the opportunity to give your answer. Just note that we'll be rewarding the most thoughtful answers, so do not hold back. If you're too shy to want to raise your hands to respond, please just give us your response in the chat pod and we'll read it out with time. So let's not waste time. You could just drop your questions in the chat box, and we will respond to it, and then we'll announce our winner at the end of the session. So once again, we would like to introduce our next speaker. It's so fascinating to see that there are a lot of people on this call, and we want to say thank you very much for joining. Our next speaker is Titilayo Savage. She's the Chief Operating Officer of Blue Bulb, as I said before, and she will be sharing her personal journey of financial success and offer advice for women aspiring to achieve financial freedom. Titilayo, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Sanami. Thank you for the opportunity to share some of my life experiences. So I was speaking to business building, or about business building, and the path to success. Okay, next slide, please, Ben. So I've been asked to Okay.
Oh, so sorry about that. I think there was.
Yeah, it seems like I was muted. So where did,
Okay, we can hear you now.
all right. Now I'm like, where do I start from? Okay, basically, let me just I'm speaking from a personal point of view, right? How I started and how I got to where I currently am. And I was saying that my inspiration for finance and business building was because I saw the finance sector as a place where I could offer the best value, applying my skills with my background in legal, in operations, and in banking. I've been able to carve out, right, the best value I can offer through the financial subsector while ensuring that I provide the best impact I can to the industry and also to the economy. I was also saying how that finance the finance sector is a very impactful sector. The strength of the finance sector goes as deep as even the family unit. I mean, Ife spoke to financial literacy, and it's interesting that as a woman, financial literacy is one of the weapons, right, which if a woman gets right, she can actually get to live life on her own terms. And there's a lot of statistics, a lot of information out there that says when women are empowered, it goes to the roots of the families. Families are more stable, children grow up with better mental attitude to life, and that they're generally more wholesome. So now, building a business, sustaining a business, establishing a business is one of the skills, right? One develops in the course of financial literacy. Being able to build and sustain a successful business is a sine qua non to be able to establish a foundation, a secure foundation for financial security ultimate. It takes a different mindset. Business building and sustenance is all about mindsets. So it takes a different mindset to build a business than to grow a business. So, but generally, you need a couple of things in place for you to build a business and grow it. You'd need to have a strong business idea. What's your business idea? So I'm speaking to all women out there who are thinking of building and sustaining a business. The first thing you need is a strong business idea. You need to find what are the needs in the market? What are the gaps, right? It might be something as simple as, a lot of women in my area go shopping in a market that is muddy, it's dirty, and it's a bit uncomfortable. Can I provide a platform service where women can log on to and avoid going to this markets, right? And we have market shoppers for them. So what is your business idea? It has to be strong, remember. Then you need to be able to do some market research. Now, market research in the sense that you need to be able to validate your idea and at the same time understand what type of competitors you'll be facing. I mean, it'll be a bit rash to just jump into a business without being aware of what kind of demands there are. If there are niche type of demands, or if there are seasonal type of demands, and if there are people already doing similar things and how they do it. I mean, there is no copyright for ideas, right? I mean, someone could be doing something and you don't have to be doing something original. You could just take what someone is doing, spin some innovation around it, and voila, you have a good business up and running. So you have a business idea, you've validated it. You need to have a business plan. What is your plan? What are your goals? How do you intend to drive this business? How do you intend to make money? What are your revenue models? What type of revenue do you see coming out of this business? Is this something subscription based? Are they one-offs? How do you ensure that your customers keep coming back to you? And very importantly, how do you execute on this idea? You need to put all this into a plan. And then the next thing, once you have a business plan, they need to be sure about finances. How are you going to fund this business idea? What type of budget do you need to put in place? You need to actually put a budget in place weekly, and then be able to monitor the budget weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually is the best mode, is the accepted mode, right, to do that. So how do you intend to fund? Would it be from private sources, family and friends, debt funding, investment from private equity? How do you intend to fund? These are things you need to think about. Also, how do you intend to manage cash? How do you intend to manage the funds in the business? You need a business bank account. You have to definitely separate your business account from your personal account. Every business should have a bank, should have its own account separate from the personal account of the business owner. And like Ife mentioned earlier, as a business owner, you should be paying yourself a salary. You're right. This would negate the need to dip into the business coffers whenever you have a personal need. Beyond financial planning and beyond having a plan in place for your business, you would also need support. Now, you need to build a strong team. Now, this is very important because in the sense, this is very important because in the event or when you decide to scale, you can't do everything yourself. You can't. Most one-man business, you are the accountant, you are the marketer, you are the shop cleaner, you are the salesperson, you are the receptionist, you are all in one. But as a business, to build a sustainable business, you need to hire and build a strong team. So, and essentially, you need to have skills for hiring the right people. You need to be able to build and mentor people into leadership positions in your team. And then you need to be able to foster the right company culture, right? To be able to this would ensure that this business you're building is sustainable. Now you've built your business, you've hired the right team, things are running. What are the next things you do? You need to begin to think about your growth strategies, because if anything that doesn't grow, anything that is stagnant, eventually dies. So you need to be able to take your business. You need to always have plans and goals for your business. You need to take a business from point 1 or from point A to point B. What do you need to move, for instance, from a community in Yaba and become, right, the major platform for 3 local governments around you, that all the women, all working executives in 3 local governments are coming to your platform to get their need for sourcing market produce met. What is your growth strategy? For that, you need to be thinking, you need to be innovative, you need to network, right? If I mentioned belonging to a community, that's one way to network, one way to source your early customers or your early clients. You need to have your marketing right. And then you also need to have a customer acquisition strategy. All these are what we call growth strategies. How do you grow your business from 10 clients to 50, from 50 clients to 100, from 100 clients to 1,000? And also, how do you grow the resources to take care of 10 clients, the resources to take care of 50, the resources to take care of 50 clients, the resources to take care of 500, and then from there, resources to take care of 1,000. All these are part of your growth strategies. So these growth strategies are things, over time, you put a plan around how you do these things. There's certain things you do daily, things you do, operational activities you do daily, operational activities you do weekly, operational activities you do monthly, you do quarterly. All these add up. The thing about, if you also mentioned compound interest. The thing about compound interest, compounding, right? The principle of compounding is that just as money compounds, actions also compounds. So every day you decide to do something 1% better. Every day you decide to do something 1% better. 1% of 1% compounds on 1% of 1%, and that's how you keep growing. Before you know what, you're no longer at 1%. You're not where you're supposed to be, and you've moved on. So these are and then also you need to focus on sustainability. These are the things you need to put in place to ensure that you can build and sustain a business. But beyond that, there's something I always like to speak to Nigerian businesses about. And as women building a business, you need to be mindful of the fact that it's not enough to build and sustain a business. We should be thinking about establishing businesses that stand the test of time. There's statistics out there to show that 50% of founders or CEOs step down from their businesses within the first 3 years. Various reasons. There's also statistics to show that only 25% remain when a company goes public. You put all this into motion, you put all these plans into motion, you grow the business, and by the time you actually should sit back and begin to realize the fruit of your labor, you find out that 25%, are out. Only 25 to 75% are out. And then 4 out of 5 founder CEOs are pushed out by investors. And today in America, globally, the statistics to show that 10% of Fortune 500 companies, only 10% have been in business for 70 plus years. What do we need to put in place to establish a business that stands the test of time? So beyond building, beyond sustenance stage, you need to move on and scale your business to a place, right, where even when you are not there, the business still remains. You need to be planning succession. You need to ensure you encode into the DNA of the business adaptability and innovation. You must always be ahead of the curve. Today we are speaking about AI, we're talking about machine learning, using data-driven decisions. You need to ensure that at every point in time, right, innovation or trends are not leaving you behind. You should be ahead of the curve. And then, interestingly, financial literacy is not just a personal thing. For business, it's also very important. You need to be prudent financially. You need to have those check marks on your business, right? Certain indices, if you have your business scorecard, right? Based on your business scorecard, you need to have certain indices that you're always tracking, either weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually or so. And within those indices, you should have post or check marks that tell you when to pause. For instance, you should have financial metrics that will say to you, the way finances are going, maybe you're losing track, or you're losing grounds on your financial runway. Maybe you need to have a hiring freeze or something. And then at a certain point in time, you know that, if you keep trending this way, you know that your business is on the verge of bankruptcy. You must have such checks, such breakpoints in your business, right? That would help you adequately manage the risk, right? And all this helps you in terms of growth, sustainable growth. Then last but not the least, it's always very important as a business owner to invest in talent, especially in internal talent. You must develop leaders. You must mentor and build people, right, who one day will step out, right, in front of you when you are out, and you can, hand these businesses over to them. Now let's just go a bit personal. Let's move on to the next slide. Let's just speak quickly about challenges and lessons I've learned as a woman in the business space, right? Personally, I have learned that as a woman in the business place, rules can be different. The rules you see that they say apply, we hear about the rules of business and all that. They are general principles, right? The general rules of business. But as a woman, the rules can be different. Today we talk about, let me just bring a bit of feminine power, a bit of it in here. The political crisis today and the Senate, right? Senator Natasha Akpoti and the Senate president. Now, I understand that beyond what we see, right, some legislative lawyers have said to me, lawyer to lawyer, how that she breached certain rules, certain house rules. Now, my response to them was this: if a male senator, had breached those house rules, what would they have meted out the same consequences as they did to her? I say this to say this, that as a woman in the business place, as a woman in a male-dominated environment, whether it's business, it's politics, you're planning your career, whatever, beyond the rules you see generally, for women, rules can be different. So it's very crucial as a woman, right, that you are very aware of rules and you're aware of how these rules can be different as it applies to you. This awareness, this self-awareness helps you to plan accordingly. So you must always carve your own path, right? And always ensure that the value you bring to the table, right, not just makes you a part of the table, gives you ownership infrastructure in that table. So you're only as fantastic as the value which you bring to the table. This apply whether you're a male or female. Business rules have no gender distinction when it comes to value. As long as you are supplying or you are delivering value to a table, then you can lay ownership to that table. Now, as a woman, it's also very important because women, when it comes to a lot of us, satisfaction out of life is not just career driven. Satisfaction out of life would also come from building a home, nurturing and raising and nurturing our children, having a social impact, being part of a society, being part of having a social life. Now, as a woman, being able to integrate your career and your other parts of your life together is very important. I don't subscribe to the principle of work-life balance because in my experience, right, I have realized there's no clear thing as a work-life balance. Really can't balance. What I understand, right, where I interpret the balance which can happen is that as a woman, you need to understand the different phases of your life. You need to understand the phase when you're building. You need to understand the phase when you are laying a foundation for something greater. You need to understand the phase when you are consolidating on what you've built. You need to understand the phase when you're accumulating on what you have consolidated on. You need to understand the different phases of your life, of your career, of your business, and plan your life accordingly. So at different phases, right, a part of your life can have a much greater sway. I mean, at the beginning phases, usually you're all career driven. At a certain phase, career takes a bit of a back seat. Your children, your husband have preeminence. In another phase, it might be your education. You want to further your education. So some other things take a bit of a back seat, right? Not that they are totally mute, right? But they're not as high priority for you at that phase in time as the other things. So that's what I believe as a whole. That's what I try to practice. I try to practice phased life balance, balancing your life based on what phase of life you're in. And I personally, this is how I have managed, and I've been able to come this far by integrating my career and my other life activities into a place where they all align, right, for my well-being based on what phase of life I'm in. Now, it's very important that you network as a woman. Well, not just as a woman, everyone. However, more importantly, as a woman, because we are connectors, we are driven by relationships. Relationships can open unexpected doors. Relationships can open unexpected doors. Always good to be mindful of this. Be open to relationships. Be, what's the word now? Be accommodating of different types of people. You never know what you can learn from them. Be open to learning, be adaptable, be flexible, right? So in your networking. There's no gainsaying, it goes without saying. Financial discipline. We've really harped on this, right? As a woman, one lesson I have learned is financial discipline, and then teamwork. Always have a strong team that backs you, whether for your home life, for your career, for your social life. Have a team you work with at all points in time. So That will be all from me. Thank you very much. Senami, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for that. I'm trying to look for the right words, right? That was really and truly beautiful. Thank you for those brilliant words and for sharing your wealth of experience with us. Now, there was something that stood out for me from both speakers so far, which is compound interest. I think this is something everybody needs to note and everybody needs to practice if we choose or if we are really interested in achieving financial freedom at a very early stage. Now, we would before we move on to the next speaker, we would like to take about 3 answers because I can see 3 hands raised, and then the winners will actually be announced after the Q&A. So, operator, please, can you kindly, Chioma, can Chioma hear me? If Chioma is there, operator, please, can you kindly unmute Chioma so she can give us her justification for the question? I can take the question again. So the question is, which of these financial opportunities would you grab first and why? Number 1, a guaranteed 1 million naira, but you can't invest it. Number 2, 5 million naira business equity. So in business equity, right? Number 3, an investment with 200% ROI, but with a 20% risk of losing it all. Think about it well. Number 4, a lifetime free mentorship from a billionaire investor, but no direct cash. So drop your choice and tell us why. So Chioma, can you hear us? If you can speak. Maybe we should move on to Susan. Susan, can you go first? Hi, Susan. Chioma, please, if you can rejoin, that would be amazing.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, please, I'm still thinking about it.
Susan, I think you're muted. Please, can you kindly unmute?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, good afternoon.
Okay, please, I'm actually thinking about the question. It's actually very deep, so I'm not.
I can understand that.
Yes.
Okay, so if you look at the screen, you can actually see the question on the screen. So you want me to take it again? Or do you have your answer already? Susan, you're muted again. Yeah. Maybe we'll have to move on to Anita if Susan is maybe having network issues. Maybe we'll come back to her. Hi, Anita, please go ahead. Anita, you're also muted. Can you kindly unmute so that we can hear you? Hi, Anita. Oh, unfortunately, we cannot hear Anita. Okay, maybe we should just read some of the responses from. We can read some of the responses from the comment section. We have a few people who have responded. Thank you for your comments. So one person here says, I would pick number 2, a 5 million business equity. This gives me the opportunity to invest in any business of my choice with a well-planned strategy and business plan. Okay, there's no wrong or right answer, but our judges in-house will look through the responses, look at which one is most analytical, and then we choose our winner. Okay, so somebody else said, I'd like to grab the mentorship with a billionaire, even though there's no cash given to me from the person. Sitting with someone who has gone way ahead of me is more valuable than money. With the nuggets I get from the person, I can incorporate them in my own life, business, career, that will reap a massive turnaround. A mentor is different from a coach that will just give me maybe verbal steps. A mentor will literally hold my hand and guide me to ensure you do what you need to do correctly. So a few more people have responded to say they would choose mentorship because it's a lifetime, a long time free option. It's going to involve mentoring throughout my life and me making wealth. With my hard work, persistence, and dedication to make wealth, I will definitely get there. Okay, these are very beautiful responses. We've seen your responses in the comments, the Q&A session, and the judges back end are beginning to collate it, and we will announce the winners after the third speakers. I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody so far for contributing. This has been very interactive. I see a lot of comments here that we can't even take everything. Thank you so much. So we'll be moving on to the next speaker. Would like to introduce Oluwaseun Oladimeji for another round of insightful notes on achieving success through networking. Thank you so much, Oluwaseun. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Senami, for having me here. Thank you, everyone, for joining our session. And I want to acknowledge our keynote speaker, Ife Durosimi Eti, as well as our COO, Titilayo Savage, who, in my opinion, have made my job easier because all through their conversations, they have referenced networking multiple times just to again emphasize the importance of what I will be speaking about briefly. Now, one of my core is being a parent because it has taught me and sort of skewed me, in my opinion, to be a better person. So my story about networking will start about what it really means, because I've learned to keep things simple, so that you get the principles of whatever ideology you're looking at. My chancellor used to say, where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. So we want to really look at what networking is, what's the purpose. We would also consider networking as an accelerator for careers and businesses. We would also talk about overcoming barriers to access male-denominated spaces. And when our CEO Titilayo was speaking, she had referenced the fact that sometimes rules when it comes to females may not be exactly as we know them as the norm. And then we would round off the session speaking about practical networking strategies for women. Senami has said March is Women's Month, and even outside March, women should be celebrated every day. And as a woman, of course, I subscribe to that sentiment. Right. Okay, so networking, what does it really mean? And before I go through my slides, I'd like to even say my own personal definition of what networking means. And for me, keeping things simple, networking is building and cultivating intentional relationships, which means anytime you talk about networking, the first thing you're asking is, what am I aiming to get from this friendship? Very important, right? And the first definition here says networking refers to the process of building. I'd like to emphasize some certain keywords: building and nurturing relationship with people who can provide support, information, and opportunities. And to bring home this point, I'd like to explain to you for me, one of the most profound benefits that I've gotten from networking. So I used to be a banker, and luckily, when my spouse and I had our first child, my employer just launched a crèche. And what that meant for me as a new mother was that for 1 year, children were only allowed in the crèche for 1 year. For 1 year, I had the opportunity to take my son with me to work and back for 1 year. So I think in the 10th month, of course, I started having new mom jitters. What's going to happen to me? In 2 months, this boy is going to outgrow the crèche. In fact, the crèche had already started telling us, don't forget, once this child clocks 1, he can no longer come to crèche. And at that point, we started hearing stories about what nannies or caregivers were doing. But I had a friend in my office, a guy who we had known for maybe 6 years at that time. And I realized that his wife ran her business from home. And somehow I just said to myself, we are going to go and intentionally make friends with this woman, since you live in the same estate with this your male colleague, but you're going to intentionally go and build a relationship with her such that she balances as the second mom for your son, whilst you are able to focus on your career and also provide support to your family. So one day I remember that my colleague says, my wife is looking at, I think, hampers, doing hamper businesses for December. She's looking for opportunities. And he said it in passing whilst we were going home. We used to carpool. And I said to myself, this is your opportunity. So I didn't really need hampers, but I made sure that I patronized her, and gradually started to develop a relationship with her. I knew her favorite food. I knew what made her tick. If she was doing anything for her children, I would be there. And fast forward, when it was time for our child to graduate from crèche, I went to her and I said, sister, I need you. And this is what I need you for. And from that moment, my friend, who I intentionally went to cultivate a relationship with, became the second mother for my child. And it gave me the liberty to do a bit more at work. I made sure I aligned schools with the schools that her children were going to. She had the power of attorney to take a decision on my behalf at school when I'm not there. So I never felt bad. Parents did. In fact, she was that crucial to me that anytime I had a new house help, I'll tell them, my sister is in the house. She doesn't live in the house, but she lives in the estate. She has spare keys. She can come in and go out at any point in time. And then I would now add a layer to say, if you offend me and you say sorry, I would accept it. But if this woman reports you, consider yourself gone. And I actually took out that threat one day. And so for the first 6 years of my son going to school, whilst we're still in the estate, Tony was super amazing. And I cannot in real terms quantify financially how having that support or having networked with Tony, I can't tell you what it meant for me in terms of career growth, in terms of mental wellness. It also meant the fact that because I could focus better on my work, I could progress, I could earn better. But I want to focus on the area of building. Now, remember I had said that networking, 2 things in networking means. First is that you must know that there is no space for guesswork in networking. You are being intentional. And two words that emphasize being intentional in networking is building, line by line, precept by precept, as well as nurturing. And I can really say to myself that my circle may not be as big, but the networks where I belong to, I am so big at nurturing, so big at nurturing. The person I'm referring to, for example, knows that she has me at speed dial, that I will always be there, that whatever she needs done, I will always support it. It's almost like you're taking a blank check to the bank that she can always draw from. So to be able to network purposefully as women, we must be willing to nurture relationships. And nurturing sometimes may come with a sacrifice. But we must remember that because we are networking with people who would also give us things in return, i.e. support, information, and opportunities, we must ensure that these relationships are not parasitic. And to also draw parallels, even though certain first two speakers have discussed the concept of compound interest in the place of finances, I'd like to also share my own sentiments that compound interest also applies in relationships. You wouldn't believe it. Keeping certain relationships, nurturing them, building them over the time, some for 10 years, some for 12 years. And in your 13th year, those relationships give you opportunities that will literally blow your mind. And I'll give another example. For example, I think 2 careers before, my 2 jobs before my role in Blue Ball. So my friend was talking about me to her boss, and she didn't realize that this boss was the first client I ever opened an account for in 2010. And as the conversation continued, her boss said, "I don't understand. You think I don't know Sheon Ayeni being my name?" And my friend said she looked at him to say, "You really know how? You can even remember her name?" And he said, "Yes." And he said 1, 2, 3 things. And based on the 1, 2, 3 things he said, "I know Sheon well." And I got a role that I didn't apply for. Remember, I said I had known this person for over a decade. Hello, sir, setting values, ensured that I engaged him professionally, provided support and value to him as a client. And, when I was doing all of that, I didn't realize that 10, 12 years down the line, this man will give me an opportunity that would help me pivot my career. So when we are looking at networking, it just really means building and cultivating relationships intentionally. And remember what I said, that for networking to really work, we also need to look at it like we are building our finances, because networking can really provide compound interest. And when the compound interest in networking appears, it gives you an edge that people on your own level or your peers may not be able to readily subscribe to. All right, I'd like to take the last point on the slide, which says effective networking is built on trust. I'm emphasizing the word trust, reciprocity, and genuine interest in others. That we will not treat people as items, but we take time to really know them, and that we take time to gain their trust, and we ensure that our relationships are not one way. I'm so big on that. And I learned it from my grandma. I remember my grandma then, when she goes to church, she used to attend an Anglican church, and somebody gives her 1 naira. My grandma firstly is saying to you, "Thank you." And the next thing she's thinking of what to do in return for you. It was a culture. She was so big on it. And I picked that as well. I'm so grateful. My grandma will say to you, if somebody gives you a glass of water, they didn't have to give that to you. And you must find a way to express your gratitude to those people, because it gives them the impetus to want to do more good for you. So we have to look at networking in that light. We want to build with trust in mind. We want to reciprocate good things. We don't want to treat networking as being parasitic. you don't want to always be the one taking from the relationship. You even want to outgive the second party, because that's the only way to enhance the value that you can get from relationships or circles that you're networking in. And of course, I talked about genuine interest in others. Now let's talk about networking as an accelerator for careers and businesses. Now, one of the things that I picked from our keynote speaker's presentation, Ife Durosimieti, Ife had said something very profound. I don't know if a number of us caught it. Now, Ife had said that her economy raised $600,000 in 24 hours through crowdfunding. Now, that's one of the key benefits of networking, is the fact that you already have a tribe that is committed, so committed and invested in you, that even when they may see better opportunities than what you're offering, they are vested in you and they will do everything to make you succeed. And if you followed, for example, Ife Durosimieti's trajectory, you will see that Ife has always been big on community and networking from the days of AGS Tribe. So I can imagine that when her economy had put out the notice for crowdfunding outside, Ife's network within themselves had also pushed that information outside. And we saw how the power of community and networking was able to help her economy achieve its scale. And it is so profound. So many people have enjoyed immense growth from networking. So we talk about job opportunities, for example. I personally, speaking from experience, I think I've only applied for one job, and all the other positions I've held have been through people referring me or recommending me for certain roles when conversations were being discussed. And it's because I had taken time to build intentional relationships with them. So job opportunities, it gets to a point in your career that opportunities don't come because you apply. They come because certain people in certain corners or on certain tables were discussing the need for a particular role, and somebody seated on that table who you have relationships with, who you have networked with, say, you know what, I know Titi can do this. I know Senami can do this. And sometimes they vouch for you because certain opportunities, as you elevate your career, people want candidates who their sponsors can vouch for. And so it's very important that we take networking seriously, like the other gender does, because I personally feel that the male gender does networking. I think networking is even a lifestyle for them, from their social clubs and all of that. But we women can learn to leverage that to improve the pool of opportunities that we have. Ife also in our conversation was talking about the economy tribe, for example, and she was mentioning the fact that her economy has a collaboration with AWS EU, and that she had also mentioned that members within the economy community have been able to secure roles within Amaze. And so it's very important that we intentionally look for networks that provide value in the areas of life that we are interested in, and that we also start to cultivate relationships within those circles, within those networks. The second is mentorship, and I cannot overemphasize what mentorship can do. Really, what mentorship can do is to accelerate your efforts, accelerate your journey, such that a journey that takes other people 10 years to get to, because you have the right mentorship, you're able to achieve the same or even surpass the results of your peers in a shorter time. Right. And so networking gives you access to mentorship, and mentorship will always be a winning joker for anyone that can crack it right. Networking also gives room for skill development. For example, if you are in a network of finance people, just by their engagements, just by whatever I shared on the WhatsApp group, you realize that you begin to gain competencies in the area of interest of those places. For example, I'm in some networks where just by reading the daily conversations within the community, and I keep abreast about things in the finance space globally, as well as locally. And so it's very important that we continue to be in the space of like-minded people and take advantage of the learning opportunities that those communities or those networks provide. The other thing is visibility. And visibility is so critical, because what's the point of even knowing how to do certain things if your target audience don't know that you provide that kind of value or services? And so it's important again that we take advantage of the circles. And I'd like to emphasize a few things here. Now, it's not only important for you to be in those circles. For example, I think a good place to network would be high school WhatsApp groups or spaces. And what I've noticed, at least across some of the groups I'm in, is that there are rules, and some of them will say, on Mondays or every Friday, you can showcase your talent or showcase your service or showcase your products. And some of us are on these groups and we don't do it. Right. So what it means is that you've taken the step to network. There's a platform for you to be visible, but you're not being visible. Remember what we said about networking? We said networking is building and nurturing relationships. So if you're not taking intentionally as well, so if you're not taking advantage of the opportunities within that circle, we can't really say that you're networking. We can just say that you are in a WhatsApp group. So we want to ensure that we are optimizing the circles where we find ourselves. Also, when we talk about networking for business success, definitely it provides room for partnerships, and partnerships may be the difference between a company scaling or a company going into oblivion. We also talked about client acquisition, and when you network, for example, you are in certain circles. Because of the personal touch that networking brings, people are likely to accept you and are likely to be more willing to give you a chance to showcase your products or services. So networking provides networking actually can be seen as a growth hacking strategy, and I know that Titi had talked about that as one of the nuggets when she was discussing about business building. Networking also gives room for resource sharing. So for example, now I think in certain areas in Lagos, especially in Yaba, you have business hubs that allows certain startup share resources, and which helps them reduce their operating expenses. Networking also provides market insights. Remember, I talked about certain WhatsApp group where I belong to, where different industry experts will just share market insights on various trending topics per time. And as you look at those market insights, you are able to, for example, gain certain ideas that can help you pivot your business to the next scale. Now we're going to talk about something I think is very dear to me, and it's talking about how to gain access into male-denominated spaces. Can I get my slide on that, please, if you don't mind? Overcoming barriers to access male-dominated spaces. And Titi has shed, a lot of light on this, and it's very important for us as women in the workspace, even in business, to know that not all of the rules apply to us as females. And in fact, personally, some of the things I've observed is that if myself and my male counterparts were having a negotiation and we said exactly the same thing to the same audience, the way my male counterpart is perceived and the way I'm perceived are seen in two different ways. What my male counterparts will say, and someone will say he was confident and he was he's assertive, I will say the exact same thing, and I may be said to be aggressive. And so it's very important that even as women in the male-dominated workspaces, that we learn to choose our words very carefully, and that we are keenly aware of these subtle biases in the workplace, because they exist. So what are the ways by which we can overcome barriers to access male-dominated and dominated spaces? The first is that you must build your confidence. It's very important. And two ways, two critical things to note with respect to confidence building is, number one, you must be self-aware. Who am I really? What are my strengths? What value do I bring to the table? Because the moment you know the value you bring to the table, it helps you to keep your shoulders up, not in a proud manner, but in an assertive manner. Another very key attribute of building confidence is to continue to upskill. The more you are aware of your skill set being improving, the more your confidence quotient increases. And so I've talked about self-awareness, I've talked about skill development, I've talked about seeking mentorship and allies, because like I had explained earlier, as you advance in your career, certain opportunities will only come to you via personal recommendation. And that's why it's very important for you to have mentorship and to seek mentorship and allies, because when certain conversations are being held in rooms where you are not physically present to, speak up for yourself, your mentors and allies always help you ensure that you get a seat on the table, or you have the opportunity to showcase your skill set. We've talked about networking strategically. Really, there is no networking if there is no strategic alliance behind it. We've talked about asserting yourself, but for ladies, please, when you are asserting yourself, you assert yourself softly, so you are not misconstrued. Always advocate for change. Always advocate for change respectfully, assertively, but advocate for change. Continuous learning is so important. If you're not learning, then you're dying. So it's important that we continue to improve ourselves in every area. Now, self-care is so important. I don't know about you, but I know that when I know that I look good, it gives me that extra boost in how I engage. I just feel like I'm bigger than who I am. And so for me, I've now realized that I'm comporting myself together, looking out for things that suit me, and just ensuring that I look my best version of myself per time, irrespective of my size, my size, is very important for me to continue to show up in a confident manner and to continue to ensure that I remain relevant and I have a seat on the table. Now, the final thing I'd like to say here is challenge stereotypes. I think on Friday we had seen a movie as a group in our office. I think it's Hidden Figures. And one of the things that I picked from Hidden Figures is the fact that some of the liberties that we women and Black women are enjoying now were fought for by women 50, 60, 70 years ago. So the question you want to ask yourself as a woman now is, how are you challenging the stereotypes? How are you engaging the workspace to ensure that the generation of women coming after us have a much more healthier and a much more equitable workspace to thrive in? So I think these are very important. And at the end of the day, remember that the journey is yours. You're doing well all by yourself. And if there's a last word I'd like to say, is that let's continue as women to engage ourselves and to improve daily. Remember, Titi had said something about the 1% rule, that if you said to yourself that you would improve 1% daily, by the time you apply the principle of compound interest, after a period of time, you find out that you've moved significantly. And I'm hoping that with all of the things that you've heard today, talking about building businesses, talking about financial literacy and empowerment and networking, that we as women will take these learning tips and we would apply them to our lives and improve our outcomes significantly. Once again, thank you for the opportunity and thank you for listening.
Hello, Shell. Thank you so much for that empowering session. I could see, people gesturing, clapping, and all. That was so beautiful. One thing I learned is that from everything you said, networking is like the key to opening doors, in every aspect, whether you're running a business or you're trying to get a job or any aspect of your life. Networking is quite crucial. And as somebody said in the comments, which is Usman, he said your network is your net worth. Yeah. So thank you so much for that. That was very insightful. Thank you. So now the floor is open to questions. I can see some feedbacks in the comment section, which we would read out a few, and then after which we would announce 3 winners, because we initially wanted to just pick one winner, but we decided that in the spirit of International Women's Day, why don't we just pick more people and then share, right? And after which we take our closing remarks and call it a day. So I'm trying to look at the chat. Okay, so there's a response here that says from Aina. She says, I choose a lifetime of free mentorship from a billionaire investor, even without direct cash. There's a good quote that says, I can see further because I can stand on the shoulders of a giant. With the guidance of a billionaire mentor, I will gain invaluable knowledge, strategic insight, and access to opportunities that money alone cannot provide. Learning directly from someone who has achieved such success will shape my mindset, decision, and habits. Over time, this mentorship will help me. Oh wow, that is really beautiful. That is beautiful. We're waiting for our. Let's take another response, and then we get the result. Oh, the results are in. Thank you so much. As regards the question, I'd say answer depends on the phase of life I'm in. For example, the phase of life I'm in right now is to build wealth, sustain investment, and also network. So the best option for me would be to pick a mentor who guide me through the phase and beyond. However, if I was in a phase where I have debts in my business or I'm facing a major financial crisis, a guaranteed 1 million or 5 million in business equity would be better because it will immediately solve my problem. Thank you very much for that response. I'm looking at the time, and I'm sure we all have things to, go back to. Our speakers have given us really amazing points, so we just move on to announcing the winners. As I said before, there's love in sharing, so we're picking more than one winner at the end of the day, courtesy Blue Bulb. Our first winner for the day is God Sent Precious. Thank you so much for participating. Your response was very, very insightful and really beautiful. Please drop your phone number in the comments, and then we will pick it and then reach out to you afterwards. This response said, sitting with someone who has gone away ahead of me is more valuable than money. With the nuggets I get from the person, I can incorporate them in my own life, business, and career that would reap a massive turnaround. A mentor is different from a coach that I would just give maybe verbal steps. A mentor will literally hold your hands and guide you to ensure you do what you do correctly. I think I even read this person's comment earlier. So congratulations, God Sent Precious. The next winner here is Emanuela. I would choose mentorship from the billionaire because at my current level, I don't have much financial literacy and I'm just learning good financial habits. So even if I did choose the other options, I wouldn't be able to maximize that and might actually end up wasting and losing everything. Makes sense? Let's say I am that financially literate. A lifetime mentorship from a billionaire would change my life. It will grant me quick and easy access to knowledge I need to scale up my life financially. Very good insight there, Manuela. Congratulations. Please drop your phone number so we can reach out to you afterwards to give you your reward. And then the last winner for the day is Aino Motunrayo. I choose a lifetime of free. Oh, you know what? That's a funny thing. I just read the comment earlier. I choose a lifetime of free mentorship from billionaire investor, even without direct cash. The quote, she was one who quoted, I can see further because I stand on the shoulders of a great giant, and so on. So to save us time, I already read that before. We want to say big congratulations to our winner. Please drop our winners. Please drop your phone number, and then your gift will be sent to you. Thank you so much for your engaging question, participation, and all. So as we wrap up, let's recap some key takeaways from the webinar. Number one, we need to build the right connections for crucial growth. Number two, businesses or business success requires resilience, learning, and strategic planning. We also learned that financial literacy is a powerful tool for overcoming challenges and achieving independence. Among others, please save and invest, and then ensure that you network right. I encourage each and every one of us here to take actionable steps, towards our financial empowerment, whether it's expanding your network, starting a business, or improving your financial literacy. The journey begins with a simple step. Before we go, we'd like to say a huge thank you to our amazing speakers, Ifeduro Simi Eti, Oluwashiwola Dimeji, Titilayo Savage. We want to say thank you for taking our time to be with us here today and for sharing these important nuggets, sharing your wisdom and your experiences. Big thank you to you all also for joining us and for your valuable responses and contributions. Don't forget to check out Blue Bulb, your partner in all financial, endeavors, and also for your foreign exchange and cross-border payments needs. Please check us out on social media, Blue Bulb Financials. We make global transactions secure and seamless for every single person and businesses all across the world. That's all for today's webinar. We hope that you'll be able to join the next one. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Titilayo. Bye.
Jesus.